Tonight's plan.
Some have traveled farther than others. 252 miles for one team, 2 for the other. And here inside Richmond Coliseum, we've got the 4-5 game in this 2011 CAA Championship. In general, you expect the 4-5 game to be now potentially the closest and the best. We'll see. Taking a look at the starting lineup for the Dragons. France Massenet, under the CAA all-rookie team, part of a 3-guard rotation. Gerald Coles, Derek Thomas. Leading scorer for this team, Chris Fouch, comes off the bench in that role. And they've got 2 guys who can bang away and rebound the basketball on the inside. We told you about Sammy Givens. Darryl McCoy had an 18-rebound game earlier this year. On the other side for VCU, getting set to play the Havoc style, which is 40 minutes of intense pressure defense. They've got Rodriguez, Burgess, and Dixon as a 3-guard rotation. Jamie Skeen and DJ Haley, a freshman, at a full 7 feet tall out of Palmdale, California. The Havoc style of play is the brainchild of Shaka Smart in his 2nd season. And you see the numbers. He has won almost 72% of his games. On the other side, well known for his defensive prowess as a coach, and for that matter as a player, Bruiser Flint in his 10th season at Drexel with 170 wins and a 3-time CAA Coach of the Year. As we said, these 2 teams split earlier this year. Both games decided by 4 points. Rams have won 8 of the last 10 and lead the overall series 11 games to 7.
We've got 2 outstanding teams, 2 outstanding coaches. Should be a good one.
These 2 coaches joined Mike Corey during halftime of our first game on our set here inside the building. Shaka Smart, really bright young man. You know, a thinking man's coach, and yet at the same time, the style of play that he wants is all about physical, all about speed, all about in-your-face defensively.
He won more games as a rookie coach last year than everybody's ever coached in this game except one guy.
And Bruiser Flint, as we said, has always had his team primed and ready defensively. They've held the opposition just a tick under 40% shooting for the year this year. Drexel in the blue, VCU in the white. Winner takes on George Mason tomorrow afternoon in the semis. Gerald Coles. Now down along the baseline. Pretty move. Everything but the basket for Derek Thomas. Here comes Rodriguez. Skeen left wide open. Can't leave him open.
That's what we talked about. He can step all the way out to the 3 and make shots. He's a very talented young man. Drexel has to take care of the basketball tonight. VCU will turn you over more than any team in the CAA.
They average just a tick under 9 steals per game. Coles has a crowd. Here they come. There's Havoc. And up ahead, Nixon pays it off.
You turn it over, they turn it into scores. That's the best part of their offense. Joey Rodriguez leads this team at the defensive end and the offensive end. He's the glue.
Drexel is playing itself right into VCU's hands by moving in along the sideline. I think Bruiser Flint's going to call a quick timeout.
Yeah, I think it's a good timeout because they can't get careless. You've got to maintain your poise against this team.
You don't take care of this basketball right now, this game's going to be over before it ever starts. And right now, what, as we said, Drexel is doing is, if you go in toward the sidelines, you're painting yourself into trouble.
You're absolutely correct. That sideline becomes another defensive player. It's like having an extra guy out there.
We said this VCU team has not been a hot team at all of late. Their only win in their last 5 was a big one on Bracket Buster Saturday at Wichita State, a game they won by a point. But also in their losses to Old Dominion, George Mason at home and James Madison at home, and a road loss at Drexel.
They've gone through a period in which they have not shot the ball very well, and they haven't been able to score off their turnovers like they did early in the year. When they can turn you over, they're a very good basketball team.
See the officials for today: Sean Hull, Bob Testa, and Sean Cassidy. This crowd already making a lot of noise. That's Rodriguez. Got his man in the air. Changed his mind midstream. And Massanet now an opportunity to run. 1-on-3, wanted contact, didn't get it. But the tip follow for Gibbons.
Well, there you see what we talked about with Gibbons. He is tough, tough, tough.
And a turnover. So after the timeout, a very quick 2 and an opportunity for more for the Dragons.
You don't get a body on Sammy Gibbons, you're going to get hurt every time because he gets himself, all he's got to do is get a hand on the ball. He's so strong.
It's only 6'5".
Unbelievable. As I said, he reminds me of Charles Barkley. They know how to utilize their body so that they keep the defenders away from them.
Gibbons missed, and now this is the Achilles heel from time to time for Sammy Gibbons. He'll get quick fouls, and he got one right there, his first.
Yeah, we talked about the importance of Drexel keeping their big men on the floor because if they don't have those guys to bang inside, they're not going to be the basketball team they're capable of being.
Joey Rodriguez. That was very good at running this offense for VCU, and Nixon came unguarded down that right side.
Well, that's just too easy, and I'm sure Bruiser will let him know about that.
Coles painted himself right into the same corner, and a held ball sends it back the other way.
You cannot give up your dribble in those situations. They need to move the ball before they get to half court so they can't set that double team on them. Here's a good example of dribbling right up across the midcourt area and picking your dribble up. Now you got 2 other defenders midcourt on the sidelines. You're not going to beat them doing that.
3 quick turnovers in less than 3 minutes for the Dragons. And there's the second for VCU. Coles on the take. Got it high off the glass.
That's a great shot there. He altered that shot perfectly.
You know what? For 256, we've seen a lot of basketball.
You're not kidding a bit there. I think these are 2 very hungry teams. Neither has played their best basketball at the end of the season. I'm sure both of them want to get it going for the tournament.
Coles painted into a corner. They get it back center of the floor. That's where you want to attack. Nothing there for Gibbons. Coles, little floater. Soft touch, won't fall. And now it's Burgess. Reddick, almost nowhere to go and left it short. Devontae Reddick.
Reddick is a good-looking freshman.
And that's going to be on McCoy. Nixon was just standing there. McCoy banged into him, and the offensive foul will go on Darryl McCoy.
Nixon is a terrific defender, but he's really helped this team offensively the last half of the season. Playing his best basketball here late in the season.
Bruiser Flynn is working the officials in a very big way, very early. Sometimes that has the right effect about setting a tone. Sometimes it goes the wrong way. Now it's going back the other way off the turnover as Reddick couldn't hang on.
VCU's going with one of their bigger lineups today to try to offset this inside power of Drexel.
Chris Fouch in the game for the Dragons. He is the scorer from the outside. Rodriguez has him man for man. Thomas, the back cut. And Fouch, wow, that's not a goaltending call.
I thought that looked like the ball was on its way down.
And Skeen to the inside, gets 2.
so much versatility for a guy of 6'9".
He's got 5 points here in the early going. Bruiser Flynn is going to get Dante Ruffin in the game. They won't be coming in until after a whistle and a timeout. And Fouch has it ripped away. And that is going to be a foul call that goes against VCU. It'll be on Bradford Burgess, his first. Shaka Smart's team wants to wreak havoc with the opponent. They have done it, not only on the defensive side, but also with Jamie Skeen, who hit from 3 and then in close as well. VCU on the way out to a 5-point early lead. CAA Championship, Daryl McCoy, one of the guys who provides an inside presence for this Drexel team.
They're very tough and strong inside, and when they go with Ruffin also, they've got 3 really big body players in there. And VCU has tried to sort of counteract that by playing 2 big guys with Burgess today. So it should be an interesting matchup. I think Drexel's gone back to their 3-guard situation now, too.
Not a good spot to inbound the ball, but another foul call coming on VCU. And this one is going to be on Javante Reddick.
Yeah, they're just playing right into the hands of VCU. They're putting it in the trap areas. They got to get the ball inbounds closer to the middle of the floor so they can make more plays to both sides of the floor.
That'll show you what you got to do against this defense if you got to inbound all the way back to the end line. Gibbons, nowhere to go with it. Trying it again, and another foul call. That's on Skeen, his first. Remember earlier, Coach, when I said that working the officials early could have sometimes a good effect, sometimes bad? It's worked right now for Bruiser Flint.
I think when they missed that goaltend call, Bruiser probably let them know something, and I think you're absolutely correct. They listened to him.
They'll stay the same way with 33 left on the shot clock.
Both of these teams have terrific young big players. VCU's got 2 freshmen around the 6'9", 6'10", or 7-foot area, and Drexel has they're very good. McCoy and Ruffin, both young players, who will be with them for a long time.
Don't forget, there's a Drexel team. 15 wins 2 seasons ago, 16 last year, 12 the year before that. This is a 21-win team right now. It's a team that won on the floor at Louisville. And Fouch fouled on the way in by Darius Theus. So the fouls are piling up right now as Theus gets his first.
That's 4 personals already on VCU. That's one of the problems when you play 94 feet of pressure. You're going to create some foul situations, and they've called them in such a way that they have not given them the advantage when they double team. They've called a foul, so they're going to have to ease it up a little bit.
There's some question as to whether or not that was a shooting foul, but the only question came from the Drexel bench. And Fouch made the point move by drilling it from just inside the arc. Losing the handle, it goes back the other way.
Right now, VCU is turning the ball over equally as much as Drexel. But they cannot afford to turn it over if they're going to beat this powerful inside of Drexel.
5 turnovers for the Rams early. Fouch on the run, and a pretty dish to Ruffin. 1-point game.
Well, that's the way to attack pressure. You get out of the double team and take the ball to the hole.
Theus underneath. He lost it again. Massenet ahead to Thomas. And Drexel will go to the free throw line with a chance for the lead.
VCU is just dropping the axe entirely too much.
VCU turns it over 11.5 times per game on the average. That's per game. Thomas at the free throw line, hitting on the first.
We talked about that victory that Drexel had over Louisville early in the season. I watched that, and I'm telling you, they got great performances out of most every player on their basketball team. That's what they need here in this tournament if they're going to win.
Derek Thomas, a sophomore out of New York, defensive lockdown specialist, and a 78% free throw shooter on the year. So Drexel does lead now. Rodriguez for three. Off the miss, Givens, great position for the rebound. Massanet almost lost the handle, but kept it alive.
VCU needs Rodriguez to hit some shots. He's been in somewhat of a shooting slump late in the season, and it's hurt the basketball team.
Thomas got himself painted in, but Massanet bailed him out.
Even though it hasn't looked pretty, what Drexel is doing, when they get the ball out of that trap, they're taking it right to the hole and putting a lot of pressure on the big people of VCU.
It's only a little bit more than a minute, but it's an 8-0 Drexel run. Burgess finally breaks that run.
Burgess is a very capable scorer. He's a great jump shooter, and he can beat you off the dribble. He's been double figures 9 of the last 11 games.
Givens had great position on the inside, and that is foul number 2 on Skeen. That is huge.
You're not just kidding, and I tell you what, if they're going to let Sammy Givens handle the ball in his comfort zone, they're in for real trouble.
You got to overplay to his left hand because that's the way that he prefers to go. And you and I were sitting and watching the game yesterday, and it was something that Towson could not do all day long.
Well, you got to get on his right shoulder and take it away from him. Don't let him go to that left side. Last night, Towson didn't do it all night, and so far, VCU hasn't done it all afternoon.
Saw the designation of second team All-CAA, and he caps off the three-point play. He now has 5. So Drexel took a quick early punch by VCU, and they have settled in. And up and under won't go. Fouch, a long arm for the tip rebound.
Both of these teams score in streaks. It's going to be very important for either team to have to answer when one team makes a run on them.
There goes Givens again to that left side. And again, good position inside, and again, a foul call is going to go against VCU. That one will be charged to Toby Veal. For the fouls absolutely piling up right now for the Rams, including to their big gun as Jamie Skeen sits early with 2 fouls. Drexel has pulled himself back up to a 4-point lead. 15-11, Drexel on top. The 11:45 to go here till halftime. And the Dak Pack, self-named, making the trip down from Philadelphia. The Dak referring to the Daskalakis Athletics Center, which is the home arena for the Drexel Dragons. And right now, that Dragons team that, for Bruiser Flint, has not had a tremendous amount of success in this tournament. This is something that, you know, the next level you want to get to. That 2007 team won 23 games for Bruiser and ultimately got left off the NCAA tournament roster, went to the NIT, and bowed in the first round in a game to NC State in Philadelphia. Ruffin missing a free throw. I get the feeling that VCU is told we're not playing fast enough because it's a different speed they're coming down with now. But missing again and roughing hard to the glass.
Right now, VCU has turned the ball over more than Drexel. They cannot afford to do this.
Gives to the left hand again.
You know, he has a great quality to his low post game. He's very patient in there. Many big players, the defense rushes him. He doesn't rush. He controls the basketball, utilizes his strength, and gets the shot he wants.
This is an 11-2 run.
Sammy Givens.
Quick start. And just blown up on that shot was Chris Fouch. So he's going to go to the line to shoot two. The foul call coming on Rob Brandenburg. Fouch, a sophomore, scoring leader 15 times this year for this Drexel team. He was the Rookie of the Year in the CAA last year. And that's an element that Drexel had been missing to a certain degree. Somebody who could really light it up from the outside.
And he's had some big ones over the last couple of years. He can really stroke the basketball. And he's, I jinxed him, he missed the free throw.
By and large, though, good free throw shooter at 73%. And on the run, Rodriguez, again, they're playing at a completely different speed when they get into the forecourt right now. We cross 11 minutes left to go in the first half. Givens going to work again. Massenet called for the offensive foul.
You can't let this VCU team rush you into making mistakes. You've got to keep your patience out there. That's where Sammy Givens is so good. He does not let the defense rush him in the post.
Screen was there, but they slipped that screen, and then stepping on the end line is Rodriguez for another turnover, the 6th of the game for VCU.
Right now we have got a little bit of turnaround in what they're doing out there. VCU wants to force the turnovers, instead they're making them. That's a much better job of attacking that pressure. They move the basketball first.
A miss by Fouch. And a foul call on Thomas, the reach in as he took it away from Bradford Burgess. For Thomas, that'll be foul number 1. And team foul number 4.
That's a pretty good shot right there.
Oh, he fouled him.
Well, I would say definitely. In many ways, the sloppier this game is, the more it helps Drexel, I think, because they're so physical. They like to knock. They like to hit the boards. If they could turn this into a tough, physical basketball game, it's to their advantage.
Off the steal. Nearly lost the ball, but Coles will settle it down.
It's a tough thing to do. You got to decide when to attack and when not to. Drexel can't get in a running contest with VCU.
Nor will they try. It's not their game. Fouch, the miss. Other opportunity, and he's going back to the free throw line.
Well, that's where they're so good, and they just pound the offensive boards. When the defense breaks down like that, just very difficult to get backs on people, and they can't keep them off the boards, and that's where they hurt you.
And Fouch missing again. Givens taking a seat. It's an opportunity to get that little bit of rest. The media timeout that comes up under the 8-minute mark, so a little bit of time on the front plus the media timeout, and Given should be good to go. And Fouch missed again. His shoulders sag as he comes back off the line. Just 1 out of 4 from the free throw line. Burgess. Good job defensively by McCoy, and a foul call. So free throws coming right now. Here at the Richmond Coliseum in Richmond, Virginia. Glad to have you with us with our host Mike Corey and my partner Charlie Willem. I'm Scott Graham. Game 2 of our quarterfinal quadruple header. 2 in the afternoon, 2 at night.
Now Burgess is going to have to take over for this VCU team with Skeen on the bench. I mean, he's a very talented player, and he's had some big scoring nights this year.
So the numbers on Burgess, they were all good. He's got 4 now. We've got ourselves a true battle here, just a little bit past the halfway point of the first half.
Now we're going to see a little zone from VCU right now.
Sammy Gibbons saw it before everybody else did. He called to his teammates to get into the zone attacking offense. Shot clock under 10. Thomas had a good look at it, couldn't bring it down, and Ruffin's going to get called for the foul on the rebound. His first, team foul number 6.
Roselle is in the ball game right now for VCU. A very good score for them. The big guys got to be smart about the fouls. This game lasts 40 minutes. They can't afford to pick up all these fouls in the first half.
There's Skeen. And Burgess spun the wheels on the drive. And he knew it. 8 turnovers for Shaka Smart's team.
Burgess played on a very good basketball team in high school at Benedictine. Played with Ed Davis. Went to North Carolina, is in the pros now. They had a sensational high school team.
Burgess' 101st straight game started for VCU. If you're Shaka Smart, you don't like playing 2-3 zone. You just don't. It's not your style of basketball. Cole's up top. Missing on the 3. Roselle with the rebound. And you're going to get a foul call again on Drexel. It's going to put them over the limit as Franz Massenek gets called for his second.
Roselle set out a good part of the season with an injury. He was one of their top scorers early in the season. Him getting back has been a big boost to this team late in the season.
Roselle to the free throw line. And missing the front end of the 1-and-1. An 80% free throw shooter.
It's amazing these good shooters come to this tournament and don't shoot well from the free throw line.
Still a zone look as you try to guard against difficulties and foul trouble. Drexel not a team that shoots that well from beyond the arc. That guy does, but he'll drive. And Fouch, the floater, got it with the soft touch.
That's a good pass out of the post to the weak side for the nice move by Fouch.
Chris Fouch has 5. Drexel on top by 3. And Rodriguez will settle his team down. And Nixon now on the reset as the shot clock winds down under 10. Off the pick and roll, doesn't get a whole lot easier than that.
Well, that was great execution, but the big fella, Haley, in there, had worked very hard to get post position there. They should have got him the ball earlier, but he made a nice roll to the basket and was rewarded with a 2.
Ball nearly knocked away, and it was. It'll belong to VCU when we come back. Bruiser Flynn imploring his team to play defense. You can't leave a 7-footer open on a pick and roll. And Drexel paid the price. We have a 1-point game, 6:49 to go here in this first half of play. Colonial Athletic Association launched a 2011 CAA men's basketball app formatted for iPhones, Android, and many BlackBerry devices. No charge for the app. Simply text CAA MBB to 88398 or go to CAAsports.com for more information. It's an app world. There's no doubt about it. There's an app for everything. And that little one there is going to know a technological world that you and I can't even imagine.
Can you imagine what goes on in his head about what's going on here today? Where have my mom and dad taken me?
First chance you get to be in a situation like this. A lot of youngsters, a lot of little boys and girls when they have it for the first time are kind of scared by the noise. Others love it. Just depends on how a kid is.
I remember my kids when they were little like that. They didn't know where in the world they were half the time. Everybody was yelling at their old man and they didn't know what to do.
6:40 left to go first half. It has been nip and tuck, back and forth. High energy throughout this first half. Shot clock down under 10. Nowhere for Rodriguez to go. Drexel doing a great job in man defense. Burgess comes inside, and Givens just got his second foul.
As we talked about taking Givens' left hand away, they got to take Burgess' right side away. He's beat him to the basket 2 or 3 times on his strong hand. You can't let him do that.
In general, in the past, when Sammy Givens has gotten 2 fouls in the first half, his half is over. He's going to be coming out here. The question is, will he stay out? As Burgess hits on the first.
Burgess has done a pretty good job of forcing the action offensively for his team since Skeen's been on the bench.
You can see the frustration there. Again, every coach handles it differently, but Givens, when he's gone with 2 fouls, even when it's been in the first 5 minutes, that's been the end of his half in the past. Not sure if it'll stay that same way today. You've got Ruffin and McCoy trying to fill the void on the inside.
I think as long as they can keep the score within a couple baskets, they'll keep him on the bench.
There's Ruffin. Great job by Darte Ruffin to get position inside.
Especially when your replacement scores like that. Good job by Ruffin.
There goes Burgess. And again, they're creating open lanes for their guys to drive from the top of the key. Burgess on the way in again, and that's 2 on Ruffin as the fouls start to build up on the Drexel big men.
And this time he does go left. I don't think he finishes as well that way, but he draws the foul. That's just as good, and maybe even better.
They're spreading the floor, and Drexel can't get any defensive help there.
And they're spreading it with one of their big guys in the middle too. So he's got both. He has such good moves off the bounce. He's able to go either way. All those youngsters out there want to see a perfect looking shot. Watch Bradford Burgess, because he has about as pure a stroke as you're going to see.
Bradford Burgess has 7, and we've got a tie game here. Talk about high energy. Got to take a nap when this one's over. Boyle with the reach-in foul. That'll be his second.
I think the depth these teams have in the front court is going to be very important today, because they're getting a lot of fouls out of their big guys. We're already in the first half in the double bonus.
You would think that has to favor VCU only because Bruiser Flint basically,
for that reason right there,
plays 7 men. And Ruffin, who you just saw miss at the line, and who really was struggling at the foul line yesterday, almost let Towson back in the game. Well, Ruffin's sitting on a couple of fouls. You got Darryl McCoy on the floor right now with 2 fouls.
There you go. Take a little more time, get your composure, and put it in the hole.
He's got 5. And again, into the lane, but Nixon, the left-hander, misses with the right hand.
That little shot right there, you and I remember Eric Maynard from a few years ago. He was just absolutely deadly with it.
What a joy he was to watch.
I'll tell you, VCU has had 2 consecutive #1 picks. The first time that's happened in the state of Virginia.
Scramble for the ball. The officials say it's going to be held ball. And it belongs to Drexel. 11 left on the timer.
It's a great job with the double team right here. Active hands, going after it with everything you got.
And the inbound comes into McCoy. Shot pocket 6. And McCoy pulled the string and missed it. It'll go back the other way.
He's lucky he didn't get another foul there because he reached across there. McCoy cannot afford to pick up another foul.
When you get to a 3rd foul if you're Drexel for one of the big men right now, and you're putting yourself in a terrible spot. Now Skeen is going to run the risk of getting his 3rd foul.
I'm sort of surprised because they have kept this game very close with him on the bench. They lose him with 3, and Givens gets away with it. It'll be Drexel's advantage.
But right after McCoy, no call, and now you got to push on Burgess on the rebound.
He just about could have got an offensive foul at that time. Skeen just turned and forced his way into the basket.
So that's number 2 on Burgess. And he going to be left to be playing this game in the second half, Coach?
I don't know, but right here, he makes his position. Now he's trying to get him out of it. It's not a foul, but it's a dangerous play to make when you got 2.
Dante Ruffin, a 5-time CAA Rookie of the Week this year.
Bruiser always seems to have a couple of young big guys that just get better and better during the course of their career. You got to give him credit. He brings them in, he sees what he wants, and he teaches them how to play.
Frank Elgar and Chaz Crawford were the 2 guys on the inside a few years back when they won 23 games. Pair of missed free throws again by Ruffin. That's really hurting them right now. Skeen bringing Ruffin inside. And a reach in on Coles, who can't believe it. Neither can Bruiser.
I'll tell you, if I were Shaka, I'd get Skeen out of there. I'm afraid he's going to pick up another foul. He's just so aggressive offensively. Takes it right into the paint.
I'm still not sure where the foul was.
I'm not either. I thought that was pretty good play. That's a double down by the guard. He did exactly what he's supposed to do.
And he hit ball. Now the miss by Skeen, one more coming.
I'll be very shocked if they leave him in much longer because he's just so aggressive.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
He's coming.
That's an offense-defense there, I think.
I'll tell you what, when you think that he is the Mr. Basketball in the state of North Carolina as a junior in high school, he's quite a talented young man.
That's smart substitution right there, if you pardon the pun. Because you got a media timeout coming at the next whistle. Get him safely over on the sideline where he can't pick up number 3.
You don't want to pick that dribble up. You got to get it back to the middle of the floor.
Thomas didn't think he traveled. 7th turnover for Bruiser Quinstein. Bruiser didn't think Thomas traveled either. He thought he just split the defense in 2 with a step. In the high post. Barzell lost the handle. Across 4 minutes to go as Rodriguez, the general, calls out the orders. Inside, Beal got pushed off his spot by Ruffin, no call. That could have been a foul. Hand-to-hand combat.
I'll tell you, that's the best way to put it.
Exactly like we thought this game would be. Whistle away from the ball. Is that on Ruffin? Or it's on McCoy. Bruiser Flint upset with the officiating. His team involved in a battle with a timeout on the floor. 3:33 to go in the first half. And the Rams pep band. A lot of talented young kids right there playing along. 21 all, 3:33 to go here in the first half. Tournament action doesn't end after this game. Stick around for more 2011 CAA tournament coverage. Our evening doubleheader. 6 o'clock, second-seeded Old Dominion against 7th-seeded Delaware. Then at 8:30, it's 3rd-seeded Hofstra taking on the 11th-seed William and Mary. 2011 CAA tournament continues right here on the Comcast Network. So now, McCoy will have to be sitting as that huddle breaks, as he got hit with his third right before the whistle that led to that timeout, or with the whistle, I should say.
I think he set the moving screen on the baseline for the shooter when he came through, and that they're going to get you every time with that.
That's 3 starters sitting right there for Bruiser Flint.
That's tough. It's a tough way to go. I think they had a little foul trouble against Louisville. Got some real good performances from some of their bench players in the few minutes they were on the floor. They need that right now.
At the very least, they need to kind of hold their own until they can get those guys back in the game at the start of the second half. And McCoy is going to be walking on eggshells when he comes back in, whenever that is. I think Thornborough gets some time now. Big man in the middle who gets limited action. Rodriguez challenges him, tries a wraparound that he didn't need to try. Had he shot it, he had a free shot at the basket.
I don't know why players get themselves in the air without going ahead and shooting the basketball. You can't make passes in the second thought.
Thornborough was denying the ball to Skeen. He wasn't even going after the block. Under 3 to play in the half. And they quickly jump out Burgess, the long arm of the law.
Yeah, he is such a quick player for his size. He's gained so much strength since he went to VCU 2 years ago. He's about an inch or two taller and at least 10 pounds heavier.
Drexel has to be very, very careful. That sound you hear is the roof starting to cave in. Your point guard's on the bench. And now he's going to check in. The 2 guys that start on your line also on the bench.
Right now, it's the time for the guards to take over and get the tempo of this game in Drexel's favor. Don't try to speed it up.
Colts came wide open and missed it short. Colts tried to take a dive for the offensive foul. And Thornborough pushed off, got himself a rebound. Skeen couldn't do a thing about it.
He gets that big body in front of him. They're not going to be able to come around him, that's for sure. He's a big young man.
1:47 to go in the half. There's been no offensive artistry to this point, and that continues. Thornborough pushed by Burgess, and that's going to be his third.
We're liable to be watching guys we haven't seen all year finish this one. No doubt about this play. He just let him have it right in the back. You cannot do that, especially right in front of the officials. Not a smart play by a very smart basketball player.
Yeah, I think Thornborough, in limited time this year, has yet to miss a field goal attempt. He's now 4 out of 7 from the line, as you see. Massadet check back in. And Derek Thomas will take a seat. Thornborough out of Roselle, New Jersey, played at St. Patrick's High School for Kevin Boyle, a team that won a state championship and a tournament of champions.
Pretty soft shooting touch there.
There's 8 players in this game right now. For Count each side now. 8 players total with 2+ fouls. 2 guys with 3. That's a lot of fouls. Skeen missed it. And that's going to be number 3 on Ruffin.
I tell you, it's definitely a foul, though. I mean, you cannot get behind a guy and shove him on the boards.
You got any eligibility left, Coach?
I tell you what, yeah, I don't want to get in the middle of all that out there, I'll tell you. I think my 2 artificial hips would have a big problem.
Yeah, but think about how stable you'd be.
That's right. At least they wouldn't break them, that's for sure. But you were right. This has been hand-to-hand combat. Both of these teams right now have committed so many personal fouls that most teams don't commit them in a game.
I think in a lot of ways the officials are going to have to back off a little bit of what they're calling in the second half. Haley, a 7-footer, not a good free throw shooter.
You sort of hope they do, because this has the capability of being a great basketball game. You don't want to see it finished by guys that don't normally play. 1 starter for VCU, Burgess, and 2 big players for Drexel, each with 3 fouls. Ruffin inside, playing with 3. No choice right now, and missing on the shot. Minute to go in the half. Rodriguez hemmed in. And now Nixon will start it again from just inside the stripe. Finding Veal on the pick and roll. Tough shot. Tip follow won't go. And the rebound corralled by Fouch. And they are going to hold for 1. Bruiser ran out on the floor. He was about to stop his point guard. I think he might have tackled him if he took off, but they need to just wind this thing down and get in with a halftime with a tie, and they've done well, especially with all those guys on the bench.
Intense basketball in the first half. Fouch open from 3. Round and out. And now, quick timeout called for by Shaka Smart. I'm not sure why.
I'm not sure.
I mean, it's a use it or lose it timeout. I get that, but why?
That's the only reason I can figure it's going to have to be a sensational play to score here. But with the one thing you don't want to do is get in such a hurry you run over somebody and commit another foul.
Jim Larinaga, the head coach for George Mason, coming up at halftime with Mike Corey. His team will face the winner of this one tomorrow in the first semifinal game. The players spotlight, first half highlights, all coming up at the break. We're 5 seconds of game time away. And Larinaga looking about as calm and cool as you can.
For some reason, I don't think inside he's as calm and cool as he looks, but he is a veteran coach. He knows how to coach the game of basketball.
Like you said, this has to be a heck of a play they've designed here, because they had numbers and the ability to run.
They just don't want to run over somebody.
That was not a good play. So, 20 minutes of basketball, Charlie, decided absolutely nothing.
Well, I think that's probably good news for both benches with the foul trouble they're in. Come back out and let's start again. Neither team has a great advantage in terms of the fouls either, because both teams are in trouble.
Halfway done, and a battle is brewing here in Richmond. 2 teams that pride themselves on defense have played it. They've hit some timely shots, and they have gone right after one another in this first half. 23 apiece at halftime for Drexel and VCU. Jim Larinaga joins Mike Corey coming up next.
The 2011 CAA Men's Basketball Championship is brought to you by the Virginia 529 College Savings Plan.
Well, here in Richmond, Virginia, first half stats. Each team shooting below 40%, combined 1 out of 10 from three-point range. And frankly, neither team hit their free throws in that first half. The largest lead for either side was 5. But there, that line along the bottom is important. 2 big men for Drexel with 3 fouls apiece, and Bradford Burgess One of the biggest offensive guns on the floor anywhere, also playing with 3 fouls. Here goes. And kickball. And the ball will stay with VCU.
Both of these teams have to get their game into the tempo right now. They cannot continue to play 100 miles an hour because it's just gone too ragged in the first half.
Skeen and Givens, each with 2 fouls. Givens has 3.
And there's no question that both coaches at halftime say go at Givens, go at Skeen. I expect to see that at both ends of the floor. They're going to try to draw the fouls quickly.
Another try coming for Skeen, who's got 7. Now, your Bruiser Flint, you don't have a lot of bullets you can go to right now. If you're going to go try to replace Givens, you really can't. He's going to have to play with those 3.
You've seen Drexel a lot. Do you expect that they might play some zone, or they will stay pretty much in the man? I think it's going to be a hard decision for him if he keeps getting these big guys in foul trouble.
Neither of these coaches is prone to playing any kind of zone defense.
We know they certainly don't want to. They may be forced to. I don't know.
Massenet pulled the string. Got his own rebound off the tip, and Coles short with a 3. And Haley comes out with the rebound. Haley fighting with McCoy inside. That's not a fight McCoy's going to win. The whistle blows, he's in trouble, but now Coles, the quick hands, pokes it away. Thomas got it to fall and reties the game at 25.
It's a good job of controlling the break by Thomas that time. He didn't get going so fast, he had no play left at the end.
Boy, they are really trying to go right after the Drexel big man. And that foul is on McCoy, his 4th.
And you know, Scott, I'm not sure that you got to make that call, because both of them are banging each other. Maybe it's time for the officials to say, hey, look, guys, if y'all want to finish playing this game, you got to ease up a little bit in the post area.
I'm sorry, I don't see a foul.
I didn't either.
And off the inbound, an easy 2 for Nixon.
I mean, they're both bumping just equally.
And now Rodriguez, the quick hands, doing what he does best. And couldn't pay it off. The building was ready to explode had that 3 gone home. Loud crowd pro VCU. The other half, the George Mason fans yelling for Drexel. That's who they'd rather see tomorrow. Massenet got caught in midair, and that gave Burgess a running start. He has 11. And in a game that's seen no lead bigger than 5, this feels like a big one at 4.
Right there, the guard to forward was almost the contact that was in the post last time down the floor.
Massenet came open, missed on the 3, and Skeen with the rebound. VCU trying to take control of this game 3 minutes into the second half. And a diving steal from Coles, who gave up his body to get the basketball.
Excellent in the passing lane defense that time.
And Thomas got the 3 on the cross-court pass. He's got 7. Intense. Skeen going to work on Ruffin. Got him in the air. Count it. And a chance at a three-point play as Ruffin just got his fourth.
Yeah, I'd like to see that one again. From our position here, it looked like he was straight up in the air. Hands in the air. He may have dropped the axe a little at the end, but I don't think it had much to do with the play.
So now your two most important bigs for Drexel this side is Sammy Gibbons, are both sitting with 4 fouls. 16:20 still to go in the game. And Jamie Skeen, the guy who started this foul run by picking up his second very quickly and still has 2, now has 11 points, stretching the lead out to 4. The ball last touching the hand of Drexel. Back it goes the other way.
Well, this is VCU basketball. They play for spurts, and that's what they've done right here to take this 4-point lead.
Bruiser Flint's calling a timeout. It's a 30 that will become a full. Four-point ball game. 16-18 to go, and Bruiser Flint running out of bullets here in Richmond. (16-18) to go. VCU sitting on top of a 4-point lead, and the back-and-forth theme that started in the beginning of this game has carried over now into the opening minutes of the second half.
Right there, of course, there's a breakaway, but these are two very evenly matched teams. Both of them play for spurts. Both of them have got them. There's Fouch making his 2. Now we got the ball back to Skeen. He makes a great move, and he shoots it with his left hand and gets fouled. Ruffin's a little lost. A couple of these plays, there's not a whole lot the defense can do because there's a lot of banging there on both sides.
So you got the two bigs, Ruffin and McCoy, both sitting with 4 for the foreseeable future. A lot of extra time for Yannick Formbor for Drexel. Remember, they generally play about 7 deep. They're playing 8 in this one. And that's about their last opportunity. Not a lot of guys that see any other time aside from that. Give VCU a lot of credit. And off the rebound, Formbor on the floor. But what they did was they started the second half by literally going right after the guys that had the fouls in isolation down on the block, and they got them out of the game. Thomas really had it taken away. Shot clock down to 10. Holds from high up above, and he hit it. Just like yesterday when his lead was down to 2 with 2.5 to go. He hit his only field goal of the day from the top of the circle, and he drills that 3 to get his team back within 2.
I think he likes to have it right at the end of the shot clock.
Roselle, and that is a charge on Brandon Roselle.
I'll tell you, it's a dangerous play, but Gibbons did exactly what he had to do. He stepped in and took the charge.
Oh, he had one choice there. Got to stand in and hope. Still just a 2-point game with 15:04 left to go here in this quarterfinal matchup in Richmond. VCU, the number 4 seed, 32. Drexel, the number 5 seed, 30. Winner meets George Mason in the semifinals here tomorrow afternoon in Richmond in the CAA Championship. Intense basketball, no doubt, we have seen for just about 25 minutes. And we mentioned the fact that Drexel playing short-handed now with foul trouble. All right, Coach, I'm going to ask you. You're in a situation like this when you're Bruiser Flint. What do you try to do?
I'm not really sure what the answer to that is. And from my standpoint, I might try some zone, but I know that's not in Bruiser's game plan. And why they're good is because they play such good man-to-man defense. I'm sure he doesn't want to change, but you can't afford to lose these 2 or 3 of these big guys for the rest of the ball game. We got a long, long time to play.
Shorten it up as best you can, hold the ball.
I think that's a good response. You can take as much time off the shot clock with each possession you have.
VCU's not going to let them do that at all. They're going to push it as best they can. So now you got which side blinks.
Well, it's a matter of imposing your will. Whichever team can do it is going to come out on top.
You're Drexel, you get an open shot, you take it, but otherwise you want to take 20 off each shot clock at least.
I think that's great strategy.
They do it again here. Shot clock down to 7. Massenet. On the runner, got it, and tied the game at 32.
Excellent offensive possession for Drexel.
That's what they're going to have to play every one of them so they can get their bigs back in the game. Massenet's got 4. Rodriguez flying in, nothing. Skeen got the putback. Big offensive rebound. Now ahead. It's there. They'll take it, and Coles misses it.
You got to make those in a game like this. VCU slows down. They're going to help Drexel's cause here. I don't expect them to do that, though.
Skeen to the inside, and Formbor is going to get called for the foul that's going to send Jamie Skeen to the free throw line.
I'll guarantee you Skeen is going to take the ball right at the chest of their big guys.
Jamie Skeen. Points. Last time his team played, that was in the loss at home on senior day to James Madison. As we said, team in the last 3 years, 45-7 inside these city limits, but had lost 3 straight coming into today. $15 now for Jamie Skeen, and the lead back up to 4.
VCU is going to be relentless with this press right now. They've got the diamond press going.
Massenet, some trouble back there. Finds his way across to Coles. And Drexel does a good job of breaking the pressure. Gibbons has company. Missed on the runner. VCU's got a real chance to take command of this game right now.
Now they're utilizing that high block and roll between Skeen and Rodriguez out there, trying to free him on the roll to the basket or the pop out after he screens.
Drexel got it for 3. Biggest lead of the game. First score of the game for Brandon Drexel, and it's a big one. 7-point advantage now. Place is getting awfully loud, pro VCU. Coles quiets the building.
That's a great shot that time.
Drexel desperately needed that possession, and they got it.
I do believe that Drexel's got to stay with the philosophy we talked about, though. Even unless they got the sure bucket on the break, they got to pull that ball back out and run some shot clock till they can get their bigs back on the floor.
And their next question is, what time do you take that calculated risk?
Well, I think the score's got a lot to do with that. Score at a particular time. If they can keep this game to where 1 or 2 possessions can win at the end of the ball game, you save them as long as they can.
So Coles, who was fouled on the shot, completes the 3-point play. That ended a 7-0 run. For Charlie Wolf, Scott Graham, Mike Corey, our host. And Massenet starts a 3-on-2 with the steal. Good look to Fouch. Shot is blocked away by Burgess, and they were going to count it, calling goaltending.
Well, I remember when the first half, there was almost more goaltending than that one, I think. But that...
Burgess is saying, why is the trail official calling it? Bradford, it's his call. That's not goaltending. First half it was, that wasn't.
I agree totally.
That's a good block.
Pros have a different rule with that, but you're absolutely correct. That was not a goal for him.
39-37. Drexel fights back to within 2. A mini 5-0 run for the Dragons as we cross 12 minutes left to go. And Formboar going to get called for another foul on the push-off down on the block.
That's already the 5th foul on Drexel in this half, all of which have taken place in the post.
Drexel catching in the same spot he hit from moments ago. Boyle working on Givens, wants to take him inside if he can. No call there. And it rolls out. Givens the rebound. Coles lost the handle in transition.
That's what we talked about, Scott. They got to slow down and run some clock in those situations.
13th turnover for Drexel, and Rizal missing. Rebound for Skeen in the putback. He's got 17. And Drexel will settle it back again in a 4-point ball game. Whoever wins this game is going to sleep well tonight, Charlie.
Absolutely.
Fouch, a nice catch, but a foot on the sideline. And a 14th turnover for Bruiser Flint's team. With 10:52 to go, a timeout on the floor. With the bigs on the bench for Drexel, Skeen, more of a presence on the offensive glass as he puts his team up by 4. This has been a game that has seen no lead bigger than 7 points. And it sits at 4 right now for the Rams. On top of the Drexel Dragons, trying to find their way into the semifinals tomorrow afternoon. You know, this tournament action doesn't end after this game. Stick around for more CAA tournament coverage with our evening doubleheader. 6 o'clock, 2nd seed Old Dominion and 7th seed Delaware. And at 8:30, the 3rd-seeded Hofstra Pride taking on the upset winner from last night, the 11th seed Tribe of William and Mary. CAA tournament continues right here on the Comcast Network. This is, if you're a college basketball fan, the greatest time of the year. Any given time, you could flip on television and you're going to see something intense in a tournament variety of win-or-go-home situation, and it just keeps carrying on and on and on. This is kind of the prelude to all of it here in the CAA tournament, but it's just going to go straight on through, of course, the rest of March Madness. Speaking of madness, Bruiser Flint trying to fight against what the officials are doing here. Something along the lines you would imagine right now. When can I put my bigs back in? Are they going to foul out?
Well, I think he's going to try to get at least a couple more minutes with those guys on the bench, and then he's going to have to go backward, at least one at a time.
Backdoor cut. And a traveling violation on Rodriguez. The backdoor cut, by the way, is the thing that Bruiser Flint likes the least in the entire world. Literally, the thing that drives him the craziest. And this time, Rodriguez turned it over after taking it.
Well, it was a good call. He did make a great cut. It was a good pass, but you can't make that extra step.
14 turnovers. Rodriguez has turned it over himself 7 times in this game. Sammy Givens finds his man underneath. Formboar misses for the first time this year, but Givens the putback. 7 for Givens, back down to a 2-point game. This is something else.
I tell you, you got to give these Drexel kids a lot of credit. They're hanging in there. Formboar doesn't play a lot, but he's gone in there and banged hard.
Fans with their fists clenched the entire game. That's what kind of game this is. Every possession. Nixon through the lane. Won't go, and Formboar a rebound. Drexel can tie it or take the lead. And a foul call. The hold will be on Brandenburg. Trying to keep Fouch from coming around a screen.
Okay, the truth of the matter is Bruiser's done a great job keeping this game close with all those guys on the bench out there. And Shaka Smart
trying to get his team to play his type of basketball. And again, trying to find a momentum that VCU had earlier in the year that kind of eluded them late in the regular season. And you get a foul call on the inbound. That's going to go on VCU as well. It'll be on Drexel. His third. Team fouls are 5 and 4. You're doing all the adding, 33 of them in the game. Fouch the miss. Thornborough kept the rebound alive, and Drexel will keep the basketball.
Well, you've got to give that young man a lot of credit up there. He's playing his heart out.
And Drexel a chance to burn a little bit more time as they wait for the bigs to come back.
Sammy Gibbons is calling for the ball out there. He wants that ball in the low post.
Fouch from the outside, challenged on the shot. And the long rebound comes down to Burgess. 9:19 left to go. Looping pass inside. Burgess had it knocked away by Gibbons, but Massenet, I believe, got called for the foul.
Great movement without the ball. He cut across the lane and spun back into the post position and got the pass. Good job by him. Good job of his teammates finding him.
That's Massenet's third. Best way I can put it right now, Charlie, is each trip down the floor is a little bit like an individual chess game with boxing gloves on.
Absolutely. Every possession is important at both ends of the floor. This is the kind of game, if you take 1 or 2 possessions for granted, you're going to lose the basketball game.
Burgess has 13. 4-point ball game. It's been that way for most of this second half as we cross 9 minutes left. Gibbons, pretty move. Wow, he went right around the 7-footer Haley.
You see why he's calling for the basketball in the post. The last 2 times down, he's yelled at his perimeter players, get me the basketball.
And Massenet was holding on for dear life on Burgess. That's a good call. He had his arm wrapped around Burgess's chest. He disagrees with the call, but he was holding.
What they got to remember is when a guy's going away from the basketball 20-some feet out, he's not going to hurt you. Don't commit a foul in that situation and get him off the hook.
So now he sits with 4. That is 3 key Drexel Dragons with 4 fouls. All 3 sitting right now with 8:36 to go. 2 of them starters, 1 a key reserve. And yet, the VCU lead is still 3.
Both of these teams are looking for their money players right now. Sammy Gibbons for Drexel and Skeen and Burgess for VCU.
And a zone look for the Rams.
That's probably a good move because they have not been able to handle Sammy Gibbons in there. Let's see if that helps him any.
He's got 3 around him inside. How did he get a shot away? Didn't get a call. Drexel wanted to fire, couldn't. Skeen inside, got his man in the air not once but twice, and a late whistle in the foul call on Thornborough, his third.
And those are the 2 guys that Drexel does not want to send to the line. They're both excellent free throw shooters.
Skeen, who is 75% free throw shooter on the day. Missing there, he's 6 for 8 on the afternoon. This VCU team shoots at 73% as a team. Drexel just 62%.
That's a great advantage in a game like this, too.
He's got 18, and the lead back up to 4. It's been 4 and then under, 4 and then under for most of the second half. Missed the little runner. Got another look. Got it.
Great second effort by Fouch that time. Going back to get his missed shot.
Fouch has 9. 2-point game. Drexel has survived as long as they could have expected with their bigs on the bench. We're going after Thornborough again. And a traveling violation on Skeen. Brings us to a timeout on the floor. The 15th turnover for the VCU Rams. Hand-to-hand combat continues. 2-point game, just over 7.5 left to go. You see a look at the measure of respect for both sides as one of the few light moments Bruiser Flint and Joey Rodriguez can enjoy in what has been just one giant ball of intensity here in this game. 7:34 to go, 2-point contest.
I think both of these coaches have done an excellent job. Bruiser keeping his team close with those bigs on the bench, and Shotgun nursing this lead along consistently throughout the ball game.
VCU has uncharacteristically turned it over more than they normally would. And we are ready to go now with 7:34 left to play in the game. And as we said, there was going to be a time that Bruiser Flint would go back to his bigs. He has not, nor has he gone back to Massenat off the timeout. 2-point game, he's working a little bit longer. Calculated risk. Both Ruffin, McCoy, and Massenat sit with 4 fouls for the Dragons. But within 2. Givens putting the team on his back, missing. And Rodriguez to bring VCU across. Burgess. That would have been a big shot. Instead, a big rebound for Skeen and a fresh shot clock. And apparently, it looked like Veal got, well, maybe hit in an area that we would prefer not to be hit in. Yep. Oh, my. Inadvertent knee. Rozelle squared and hit it. Big shot for Brandon Rozelle. Only 2 baskets today, but 2 big threes. And the lead extended to 5. Drexel beats the time strike. Givens inside. Wow. Wow.
Great individual move by Sammy Givens that time.
What you may have missed while the substitution was made is McCoy is back on the floor and guarding Skeen down on that left block. Playing with 4 fouls.
I think Bruiser's doing exactly what you said. He's going to bring them one at a time, get them back onto the flow of the game.
There it is. Can't afford to commit the foul, and there it is, the foul on McCoy. They called it for the leg on McCoy. Just as soon as he's in, he's back out, and his day is done.
Well, that's one of the things you worry about because they sit over on that bench and then they go into the game and try to create that same level of intensity, and it's very tough to do. Looked like he called him for getting that knee up in there. I assume that's what it was.
That's what the official pointed to, the leg. Now, if you're Bruiser Flint, you're trying to make a point as McCoy fouls out. Trying to make a point to the officials, you're trying to make a point to everybody, but the thing you can't do right now, after you've nursed this long, is you cannot get a technical foul.
I think you're absolutely right.
You cannot.
I had this game early in the season, and Bruiser got one down the stretch, and it hurt their team. If it means anything, he said he will be in this game at the end, so that's good news.
That was back on January 5th. in the game at VCU. But the Rams won by 4. So now Ruffin is checked in with 4 fouls. As McCoy is done for the day.
The good news is Formore has given him a good minutes while he's been on the floor out there. That's a plus for Drexel right now.
1-1 for Skeen. Has 19. Formore's going to have to be ready to go back in potentially. 6:09 is all kinds of time left. And that rattles in. So the lead back up to 5 now for the Rams. As we come up on 6 minutes left to go.
There's plenty of time for Drexel right now. They have to run good offense, take good shots, and then hit the offensive boards.
And a whistle and a technical foul called on Bruiser Flint. As we said, there was a point to be made. There was a point trying to be made. You tried to nurse the game. What you could not do was get hit with a technical foul. In fairness, no idea what was said. And 1 out of 2 for Rodriguez. Drexel gets the basketball back. Cost them a point.
That's what I couldn't understand why it was called in that situation, especially when they still had the basketball. Of course, that's better than if VCU had had it, because they would have possession.
Ball knocked away, and back it goes the other way. So on the turnover, the 15th of the game for the Dragons. As a rule, they turn it over less than 12 times per game. VCU, a chance right now to take command of the game. If you think an 8 or 9 point lead is in command, you haven't been watching. But they miss on the shot. And now the push will be on Haley. His second. For two teams that fought so hard, the last thing in the world you want to see right now, Charlie, is this game to degenerate in the closing minutes.
Absolutely. You hate to see it because both teams have played their heart out there tonight. Played hard and done everything they're supposed to do. This game is a long way from over right now. 5 minutes is a long time.
VCU showing zone again. Fouch wants a 3. And he got the 3.
As I said, this game is a long way from over.
Three-point game, 5 minutes to go. Winner plays George Mason tomorrow in the semis. VCU with their guard play right now, holding on to the basketball. Oh, my. Probably not the shot that Shaka Smart wanted.
I would say definitely not.
So now with 4:32 to go, Drexel can get within 1 or tie. Possession by possession, it still goes. Massenat playing with 4. Ruffin playing with 4. Gibbons wants to go right at the big man and does, and got the finger roll. No basket. They wave off the basket. An offensive foul on Gibbons, his 4th.
I tell you, I thought it was a great basketball move by Gibbons. I had a bad angle to see the charge, but
I believe it's a charge.
But
I think the ball was released. I think the basket counts.
I thought for a minute they might give him the basket, yes, but that'll be a 1-and-1 situation at this end, though. Or actually, it will be, that's their 10th foul. It will be a double bonus. Well, the worst that they can get out of play is an even swap.
And again,
it can't be a player possession foul if the basket counted.
Ball's out. Rodriguez credit for getting in there, sliding in, claiming the spot, and taking the charge. So no basket. What a turnaround this is. Or the basket did count.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's why he got the double bonus. Right.
Scoreboard does say 50, so the basket did count, which is why you're back down the other end.
That's right. So they don't lose anything there. If Rodriguez, even if he makes both of these free throws, they both get 2 points.
Like I said, you've been involved in this game. When it's over, you're going to need a nap.
That's right.
Rodriguez, 2 big free throws. 3-point game. Massett had hemmed in, got away from it, and went backwards, as Drexel has been doing effectively all day. And they beat the pressure again.
That's the best pass you have sometime against that diamond press, is to make a pass backwards and then penetrate it up the floor.
And you're going to get a foul call away from the action.
I think it's on Herman Veal. On Veal. Toby Veal.
So it will be on Toby Veal, and it brings us to a timeout on the floor with 3:48 left to go. All kinds of intensity and emotion here in Richmond in a 3-point game with 3:48 to go. How much more juice can you squeeze out of an orange? 53-50 with 3:48 to go. In what has been an unbelievably intense game, no separation by more than 7 points. VCU had a lead of 7 here in the second half. Drexel hasn't led since the 5:37 mark of the first half. Now, last time they met, Sammy Gibbons, 18 points to lead the way. They had 9 more free throws made, did Drexel, than VCU. Jamie Skeen at 17. And the Rams were within 1 with 13 seconds to go. 12 ties, 10 lead changes. You made the point a little bit earlier, Charlie, that these are 2 very evenly matched teams. I'm apt to agree with that.
Well, they both won 1 going in, and I tell you, that last game they had was a barn burner, as this one has been. People that are leaving here, I think, will do what you said. They're going back to their room and take a little nap after this one.
That was the 16th foul before the whistle on VCU, so Drexel not shooting yet. They inbound. Possession by possession. VCU still playing that strong in-your-jersey man defense. And that's going to be a foul call on Skeen, who threw Ruffin out of the way in the fight for position. His third.
None of these bigs have backed off the other ones this entire basketball game. What a great effort by them. They're playing post defense just like you did when you started the basketball game. They're working hard for position. He threw him out of the way. It's got to be a call.
Not sure I agree with that, but okay. Ruffin to the line now. 1-and-1 opportunity. And Ruffin, who's been foul shot challenged in this tournament, hits there. He's got 6. Let's put it this way. If this were Big East players on the floor right now, there would have been 85 fouls called in this game. And Ruffin hitting again.
That's a big-time step up for that young man.
1-point ball game, 3:20 to go. What a game. Rizal taken toward the hole, and it won't go. Tickled the rim and fell away. Under 3 left.
That's when you use the glass going to the basket. That way you get bumped, it doesn't ruin your shot.
Incredibly enough, Drexel has a chance for the lead. Charlie Williams, Scott Graham, closing minutes of this quarterfinal game.
They're going to try to get that ball to Sammy Givens if at all possible. I'm quite certain of that.
Instead, Massanet can't get the lead, and the rebound comes down to Rodriguez on the weak side. .220 left to go. And Skeen fouled by Ruffin. That's number 4. 5, I should say. And Ruffin is done.
Both of these teams are looking for their money players right now. They want the ball in around the post where you got a chance to put this game away by getting fouled or scoring in tight.
That's a foul. They were fighting and fighting and fighting for position. And then Ruffin committed the foul trying to deny the basketball. So he fouls out with 7. So McCoy and Ruffin, both of the big men for Drexel that had been waiting to come back in, are both done. With 2:11 left to go, should this game extend beyond regulation time, that would become a bigger factor.
It would be very tough on Drexel without those 2 bigs. Both of these teams are taking the ball where they've been most successful. For Drexel, it's to Sammy Givens. For VCU, to Skeen and Burgess.
Yannick Formbor, who's played one of his best games ever for Drexel, number 1 in blue, is back on the floor now, and it looks like he's going to be there to stay. As Skeen hits on the first. And Skeen has been marvelous in taking care of business on the inside and hitting his foul shots. He's got 21 points in the game.
Well, Drexel is right now, VCU right now has won this game to this point at the foul line. They're 21 of 29 out there.
And another big make for Skeen. 3-point game again, 2:11 to go. And off the inbound. They throw back behind again. It's taking some time to get across, but Colds does. Now picks up the dribble. That was a mistake. Massanet bailed him out. Under 2 left to play. You called it. It's Givens. And he pulled the string and missed, but the long rebound comes back out with a fresh shot clock. The noise level in this building is intense. And now you got a foul call on Formbor on the screen. Or check it, it's on Givens. It's on Givens.
Boy, that's another.
And Sammy Givens has just fouled out of the game.
I'd like to take another look at that just to see what happened.
The entire Drexel front line is gone. He threw his arm and his shoulder into the screen. Thirteen points for Sammy Givens. And you can see the frustration for a team that won 21 games this year. Likely will be playing in a postseason somewhere, but their run right now might be over here in the CAA championship, unless they can get a stop and find something else.
VCU is going to use up as much of this shot clock as they possibly can right now.
And Rodriguez, oh, what a shot! And a quick timeout. What a shot by Rodriguez. And that is a major dagger with 1:05 left to go.
I've seen that young man over the last 3 years make more big shots at the end of games than you could possibly imagine. Just an unbelievable stop on a dime and let it go. Money player.
I'll tell you what. I'm Shaka Smart. I'm saying no, yes.
That's exactly right. And he has not shot the ball well today, but that one was right in the basket.
That was a money shot, big-time shot by a big-time player.
He does so many different things for this team. He has not shot the ball well this year, but he's done a lot of other good things that have helped him win.
Mom and Dad call him Boo Boo. His coach calls him the General.
Don't anybody tell that man he's 5'10", keeps you out of this basketball game. He plays it as hard as any big guy on the floor.
Here's the amazing part, Charlie. This game's still not over.
You're absolutely correct. 5 points with a minute to play. That's been done many, many times. 2 possessions. There's a guy right there who's capable of hitting the 3 to put it close, too.
Instead, he'll take it to the basket with the left hand, and a quick timeout for Bruiser Flint, who could still stop it 2 more times. So Fouch with 14, and here we go. 3-point game. They'll set up the pressure defense.
I'll tell you what, you've got to give these Drexel kids a lot of credit. They have no quit in them whatsoever. They're just like their coach. They play hard right to the buzzer. Great move by Fouch. Goes to his left hand, puts it in the basket, keeps his eyes up on the target, and finishes.
It's somewhat cliched, especially at this time of year in tournament situations, but you really have to feel for whichever team loses this game because neither team deserves to.
Well, it is a shame, and that's one of the tough parts of this time of year. But you got to win in advance, or you're either going home. And I think Drexel's had such a good season, regardless of what happens. Both of these teams, whoever wins, I think will have a shot at postseason.
Last year, VCU played in and won the CBI tournament.
CBA.
And Nixon bothered. They almost took it, but a foul call. Drexel thought they had the steal.
Last year, the CAA had 6 teams in postseason play. I don't see any reason to be different this year.
And the foul call on Colds. He and his teammates thought they had ball, thought they had taken the ball away. Bruiser Flint, to his credit, looked at his players and said, get down to the other end and get to the line.
You've got to keep your head in the game right now. There's a lot can happen in 50 seconds.
Very good free throw shooter is Bradford Burgess. 2-shot foul coming. Now a 2-possession game again.
You judge free throw shooters by what they do in the last 2 or 3 minutes, and he's been very good. Bradford Burgess likes the ball in his hand at game time. I talked him right out of that one.
Still a 2-possession game. Still time left to go. You don't need a 3. Massenet missed it. Fight for the rebound. Rodriguez trying for the timeout. Did he get it? Or we got a foul call coming on Formboard. Formboard was trying for the tie-up.
I thought he called timeout before that, but it's hard to tell from over here.
Nope, they called the foul on Formboard. Okay. His 4th.
That's the biggest man on the floor and the smallest man. Very tough collision.
Now you do remember that this could be no more than a 2-possession game, even if Rodriguez makes this pair. But also know that Drexel, a team that shoots just 31% generally from 3-point range, has been worse from that range today at 2 for 11. And Rodriguez leaves the door open, so you don't necessarily need a 3 on the first trip down the floor. Problem is time left now at 38.4.
That's 2 of VCU's better shooters missing foul shots inside of him.
Missed the pair. 4-point game. Drexel's got timeouts left. They don't need a 3. Fouch will take it anyway and hit it. He hit it. 1-point game, 28.8 to go. And the quick timeout as the Dragons will set their defense.
Great job of time management by Bruiser and his basketball team.
17 on the day for Fouch. What a big shot.
I'll tell you what, that is way out, way out. Great job of creating space from the defensive player and getting the shot over his extended arm. That young man's a good offensive player.
You see the level of emotion that's going right now. And you know that Drexel's got to be thinking, we fought uphill all day. We're not going out now. Ronald Colbert, a senior, on the floor for the first time today. Massenet's got 4. If a foul's to be given, they don't want Massenet doing it. They'll go for a steal first. They've got 1 timeout left. VCU's got 3. If they can't get it in, they can stop the clock.
They want that ball in Skeen's hand.
Looks like everything's set now.
I expect them to go into Skeen.
They go into Rodriguez. They get it across. You had a whistle and a foul call and a hold on Drexel. Colbert called for the hold.
Well, that's why he's in the ball game, I'm sure, but I'm not sure in that situation that they wanted to do it quite that quickly. Make a play for the ball, then you may have to put him on the foul line at that point. Of course, Rodriguez just missed 2. And so it's not a bad play, but normally he's a very good foul shooter down the stretch.
Turn the intensity up another notch. 86% on the year, but 3 for 6 today. Clock is running for some inexplicable reason.
I think it was just shot clock that was running. I don't know. I guess
the game clock went down, and now we're going to have to get a delay as the officials put it back to where the time was supposed to have been.
I would think that they would count the free throw good, though.
The free throw should be good.
Yeah. I'll tell you another group of 3 that's going to want to nap after this game. They have had one tough game to call.
They're trying to set the clock to where it's supposed to be. It was 27-5, I think.
I think that's exactly right. 27-5.
27-5 is where they've got it back to now. The first free throw good. Now here comes the second. Well, you want to fit one more clown in the car here? My goodness. There you go. 3-point game. Big free throws for Rodriguez, and Shaka Smart will take one of his 3 remaining timeouts to set the defense.
Drexel does not need a 3. They can come down if they can get a quick 2 by going hard to the hole. Then they can play for the steal or foul and put them on the line, and still be if they make both of them, they still have only 3 down, 1 possession. If they miss one, they could win the ball game.
Feel like you're being put through a ringer in a game like this one. And then you also have the question about fouling as you see the reset. Each team can still stop it. Possession arrow belongs to the Dragons. And if the Rams were to foul here, it would be a 1-and-1 unless, of course, a shooting foul. 3-point game, you always have the question of, well, do you foul because then you can't get the 3-pointer up, but we're way too early for that right now.
I think so. I definitely agree with you. I think what they've got to do is get the best shot they can quickly. If the shot clock wears down, they may have to, but right now I think you got several options, and one is to try to get a quick 2.
46 fouls called in this game, 27 of them on Drexel. They're not even pressuring the ball. And now the clock didn't start.
We've had so many subplots to this game tonight, it's been incredible. That's going to be a tough one to tell how much time was taken up with that inbounds.
Are they going with 2?
Yeah, it looks like it. 2 seconds. I'd say that has to be a total guess, though, wouldn't you?
Sure. I believe the officials are going to try to go to a monitor right now and try to assess how much time passed as you count it out. 1, 2, whistle. 2 seconds seems about right.
I think it's good a guess as anybody's going to get in this building.
25-5 will stay.
Well, if it gets down to where they have to take a 3, obviously we know who they would like to see have the ball in his hands. Fouch has been a tremendous three-point shooter throughout his career.
Now, VCU was not pressuring at all in the backcourt. Now they've got the opportunity to do that if they want. Which means that error gave them an opportunity to do it. However, ... they don't. Fouch, another 3. Got it! Tie game! It's tied at 60.
I tell you, great pressure shot by Fouch.
And another timeout for VCU.
What a basketball game. What a basketball game. I'm getting myself nervous over here, I'll tell you.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable turn of events. Absolutely wild, crazy ball game. And Fouch has now hit 2 big threes. You've got yourself a tie game situation, a timeout for VCU, and they're trying to draw up a play to win the game, but we still have this, the possibility of overtime hanging out there.
I would say there's a good possibility right now. I'm sure that VCU is going to probably get it in Skeen or Burgess's hand to see if they can either score or get fouled. But what a basketball game this has been. You've got to give these Drexel kids incredible. They have been incredible with the fight they put in themselves today.
Fouch had already hit a big 3. And here, in this situation, they didn't need to take it. He took it anyway. What a shooter.
I'll tell you what, he is a money player. And you can bet Givens and those bigs on the bench are just rooting like their heads off for that youngster. Make no mistake about it, these are 2 good basketball teams here tonight. Great competitors. They play hard from start to finish. Well coached. What a basketball game. I repeat myself.
I agree with you that both will be playing in a postseason tournament somewhere, regardless of how this works out. 60 apiece, 13.2 to go. The inbound for VCU. Each team can still stop it once. They're going for the win right here.
They don't want to take this shot too quickly.
They got to take it now. Skeen in the lane. Spinning shot. Good at the buzzer. VCU wins it.
I tell you, I would pay to see this one again.
Jamie Skeen with 24 points all day long. You were able to bring it inside and either hear a whistle or get a look. He brought it inside, he backed in, and at the buzzer, there it goes.
Formore, too, had done such a wonderful job. You sort of hate to see him be the guy that's the one that's guarding, but Jamie Skeen is just a money player and does a great job. Little reverse back in towards the baseline. Good defense. He just goes up through the trees, keeps his concentration, makes the strong basket for the victory.
What a wild ending. What an intense basketball game.
I'll tell you what, if Drexel does not get a bid into a postseason tournament, it would be a terrible shame because they played with every bit of heart that they could have possibly played with today.
Their entire front line on the bench with foul problems and ultimately fouling out of the game. They got it tied, and VCU at the buzzer gets it won. 62-60. 4 seed beats 5 seed in a game for the ages here in Richmond. Backing Formbore in on the turn drop step here, the spin, and straight and true. You saw the light go on the backboard. It falls through at the buzzer.
They took it right to their money guy, and he collected.
So an unbelievably intense ball game ends up with a shot down as close as you could possibly get, but VCU advances. They've got George Mason now tomorrow.
I tell you, what a ball game, as I said before, but I mean, VCU did what they had to do in that last possession, got it to the guy they wanted to get it to. He made the big play. They win the basketball game, but just applause for Drexel because they really gave it a marvelous effort out there tonight.
Guy who hit that game-winning shot is now standing by on the court with our Mike Corey. Mike?
All right, thanks a lot, Scott. Doesn't get much more exciting than this. Take us through the final play. Congratulations.
Well, Coach drew a play up for me like he's been doing the whole game because I felt like I had a bunch of mismatches. And so I just had an opportunity, and I made the best of it.
24 points, a game high. You made it happen. You had 95% of this building behind you. How did that help energize you guys?
What did you say? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, the whole building behind you, it seemed like you're 24 points a game high. How much energy did that help provide for you guys?
It definitely helped a lot because, you know, we're from Richmond, and we're probably like maybe 5 minutes down the road from where we regularly play. So pretty much all our fans are here. So, yeah, the fans definitely helped out.
And you guys came in losing 4 your last 5 here before the tournament. Are you back on track now or what?
Yeah, I mean, like I was telling all the rest of the reporters, like, just because we lost 4 out of 5, I mean, this is a brand new start right here. This is a tournament, and I mean, anything can happen. And as you can see, that last play.
JB, congratulations. Great win. Good luck in the semis tomorrow.
Sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
JB Skeen, player of the game for VCU. They win it on his last second shot. 24 points to knock off Drexel by 2. We're not done. We're halfway through the quarterfinal action here today from the Richmond Coliseum. We're coming back at 6 o'clock, just over an hour from now, with the second half of our quadruple header. Number 2 Old Dominion, number 7 Delaware, and then it's Hofstra and William & Mary. It's all coming up at 6 o'clock, so make sure you rejoin us at 6 for the quarterfinals of the 2011 CAA Men's Basketball Championship from Richmond, Virginia. Enjoy your afternoon, everybody.